Have you ever had that feeling of knowing what to do, even though you can't explain why? Maybe it happened in an important situation where fear or doubt were present, but something inside of you said, "Go ahead, trust it." Or perhaps you made a quick decision based on an inexplicable feeling, and, surprisingly, things turned out right. That's intuition. That inner voice, quiet yet clear, that emerges before you even start rationalizing your options. But why is this voice so powerful? And why is it often so hard to understand? Intuition is often viewed as a mystical gift or even a form of divination. However, what few people realize is that intuition isn't something supernatural or irrational. On the contrary, it is a deep mental processing ability you already possess, but one that, in the rush of modern life, tends to be neglected. When you listen to your intuition, you are accessing a vast store of information accumulated throughout your life, much of which you may not be consciously aware of, but your brain stores. This ability to make quick, accurate decisions based on non-explicit data is, in fact, a valuable skill. And contrary to what many think, it's something that can be developed. Have you ever wondered how your mind makes that connection between the unconscious and the conscious? How, in some moments, you just know what to do without needing to analyze the situation. The answer lies in the brain's processing power, which can compile past experiences, old memories, and even signals we pick up non-verbally, such as body language, tone of voice, or the environment itself, and leads us to an intuitive response. Instead of consciously recalling all these details, your brain processes them, and almost invisibly, it generates a clear direction. This is intuition, which is actually a far more grounded response than we realize. Intuition is like an internal radar, often acting without us even noticing. And here's the first big discovery. As humans, we are conditioned to trust logic, reason, and evidence more than anything. We are used to analyzing, weighing pros and cons, and seeking external validation for our choices. But what about when a decision needs to be made in seconds? What about when you have limited options or are in a high-pressure environment? That's where intuition steps in. It allows us to act without needing proof because, deep down, it already knows what is best for us, even if we don't understand why. A classic example of this is when you meet someone and get a sense that they are untrustworthy, even though there's no obvious reason to feel that way. Or when you suddenly decide to take a different route while driving because you sense that something is off, only to discover later that there was an accident ahead. This kind of perception doesn't come from logical analysis, but from a quick and intuitive perception, something your brain noticed before you could consciously process it. And believe me, that's your intuition at work, without you needing to make a conscious effort. But here's the question. Why do we often ignore our intuition? Why, even when we know it helps, do we fail to listen to it during crucial moments? The answer is simple: fear. Fear of making a mistake. Fear of trusting something we can't explain rationally. And this is one of the biggest challenges for those who want to learn to listen to their intuition. How do we trust something that we can't explain? How can we be sure we're not just being led by emotions or anxiety disguised as a hunch? When we are anxious, our mind often distorts what we are feeling. Fear can disguise itself as intuition, creating a sense of urgency or discomfort when, in reality, there's no need to make such a hasty decision. This is a major obstacle because anxiety clouds our perception of reality. True intuition, on the other hand, is calm, quiet, and serene. It never pressures you. It simply arises, like a gentle presence, guiding your actions without haste. Therefore, the first step in learning to differentiate intuition from anxiety is practicing inner stillness and reflection. Now, imagine you're in a high-pressure situation, a major project, a tough decision, or an emotional conflict. What happens? Anxiety takes over. Your mind starts bombarding you with possibilities, fears, and doubts. But what if, instead of allowing yourself to be consumed by these thoughts, you simply stopped for a moment and took a deep breath? This simple act of slowing down could create the space for intuition to emerge. Because, in stillness, intuition becomes clearer, more visible. The practice of slowing down, of stopping to listen, is essential for honing your intuitive ability. For many people, learning to trust their intuition can seem like a daunting task. They believe intuition is a rare gift, something exclusive to certain individuals, something inaccessible. But the truth is, we all have this ability. We all have the potential to listen to and trust our inner wisdom. The difference lies in how willing we are to practice this listening. When we start to realize that intuition is a trainable skill, a muscle that can be strengthened, the process becomes more natural and fluid. Practice is key. The more you allow yourself to listen to your intuition, the easier it becomes to access. Another important factor is self-awareness. The more you know yourself, the easier it is to distinguish when you are being guided by true intuition and when you're simply reacting to fear, desire, or external pressure. Self-awareness, which comes with practices like introspection, mindfulness, and even journaling, helps create a space of clarity where your mind can separate emotionally charged reactions from genuinely intuitive insights. For example, when you begin to notice that your mind is filled with noise, whether from external pressures or internal fears, you can give yourself the time you need to clear those thoughts before making an important decision. This creates a mental space that allows intuition to come through. Sometimes the simple act of asking yourself, "What do I really want here?" or "What is my true feeling about this?" could be the key to hearing your intuition more clearly. Intuition is also not a quick, superficial response. It doesn't come from the moment. It comes from deep wisdom accumulated over time. You've probably heard stories about instinctive decisions that, over time, turn out to be right. This happens because, in some way, your mind unconsciously accessed an immense amount of data, experiences, memories, stored knowledge, and generated a response quickly. This shows how intuition is, in fact, a valuable resource for everyday life, not just in crisis moments, but in regular situations too. A practical example of this can be seen in areas like entrepreneurship. Successful entrepreneurs often speak about the importance of trusting their intuition when making business decisions. They know that the market can be volatile, and financial analysis may not always predict every scenario. And this is where intuition comes in, not as a substitute for reason, but as a complementary guide that helps them navigate moments when logical data is insufficient. Intuition is, in fact, a strategic ally that strengthens with experience, knowledge, and self-awareness. However, trusting intuition also means being willing to make mistakes. Because yes, sometimes our intuition can fail us. It isn't infallible. But mistakes shouldn't be seen as failures. They should be seen as learning opportunities. After all, every time you fail, you gain more experience, and as a result, your ability to perceive intuitive signals becomes more refined. This cycle of trial and error is essential for fine-tuning your connection to your intuitive power. The secret, then, is to balance intuition with reason. It's not about choosing one over the other, but about understanding how both can work together to support decision-making. When reason and intuition align, you become a more reliable version of yourself, more aware and more capable of handling life's uncertainties. Ultimately, trusting your intuition is about trusting yourself, your own judgment, and your ability to navigate the world with wisdom. A helpful tool for strengthening your connection to intuition is meditation. Regular mindfulness or meditation practice helps calm the mind and clear emotional distractions. When the mind is quiet, intuition is easier to hear, something that often gets lost in the noise of accelerated thought. Meditation is like a mental cleanse, allowing intuition to manifest more clearly and accurately. Finally, remember, your intuition isn't something you need to reach. It's already inside you, waiting to be heard. When you learn to trust it, you're not just acquiring a new skill, but returning to your most authentic self. It's your connection to something deeper, something more genuine. And when you allow yourself to listen to it and act on it, life begins to flow in a more natural, lighter, and above all, more aligned way with who you truly are. The true wisdom lies within you. You just need to learn how to listen